guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Harry Potter. Today we're getting into the new trailer and all the beasts that are shown in them. So we now have them all confirmed. This is sourced from Pottermore. So they did release a kind of script of 11 things that were seen in it, and some of them involved what beasts we see. So they're going to be going through them and talking a bit about them and what they can actually do, how dangerous they are. The first thing we see in the trailer is a red-like sheet overcoming a crowd of people who are running away from it. If you slow that down and take a screenshot, you can see a beast-like figure, but it doesn't give us the full picture as to what it is. Now we do know what that is, and we'll be getting into that when we see a better, clearer picture of it in future clips. Based on the red sheets, it made me think that these black sheets at first were an indication of another beast, but it looks like that is just magic. We see a bunch of black sheets covering all the buildings, and there's a clearer picture of this in the later scenes, where we see all the black sheets covering a whole city. The next thing we then see is Newt Scamander blowing a yellow gold-like dust around him in a circle, using this potentially to identify an invisible creature. Go a little bit further and we see a creature with a bowl-like head. Now at first I thought this was a creature that possesses the ability to become invisible. It's like a demiguise or a hide behind. However, it's actually confirmed that this is a kappa. If you remember, this was in Harry's Defense Against the Dark Arts class, where was it described as a dangerous water demon. There were two things that shocked me about seeing this in the trailer. First of all, kappa is a water demon that usually inhabits shallow ponds and rivers. Secondly, as far as we know, kappas don't possess the ability to become invisible. Now the kappa is described as a monkey that looks like... Now the kappa is described as looking like a monkey, except instead of fur it has scales. And it also has a hollow, which is a bowl, at the top of its head, in which it carries water. Kappa is a dangerous creature. It feeds on human blood. Oddly enough, it may be persuaded not to harm a person if you throw a cucumber with that person's name inscribed at it. It's almost as odd as a basilisk creation, toad on an egg. In a confrontation, a wizard should try to convince the kappa to bow its head. In the process of doing that, the water should tip out its head, weakening it. And being that the kappa is invisible, I feel like there's just something a little bit more going on here. We know that it is a very dangerous creature. The Ministry of Magic classification for this is 4 X's, rating it as dangerous, and only skilled wizards should take it on. So potentially I'd probably say that this is some form of attack from Grindelwald's side of making a dangerous creature invisible to making it very difficult to potentially protect that disguise of wizards in the Muggle world. So the next thing is probably the most exciting clip. This is a clip where we see Newt with something at the end of his wand, which doesn't seem to be a creature of any sort. It might just be some spell or charm, which he's drawing the attention of what is now known to be a zouwu. In a video released in July on YouTube, there was an interview with Rowling where she described a zouwu. Now this comes from Chinese mythology. A zouwu is described as a giant elephant-like 5-coloured cat, a monstrously large feline beast with a striped body, a straggly mane, 4 fangs that curl out of its mouth, long sharp claws, and a disproportionately long multicoloured tail. Zouwus are incredibly powerful and incredibly fast and can travel 1,000 miles in a day. This is probably something only the likes of Newt Scamander could take on, as we see he is trying to almost distract it and calm it down. Because later on we see a massive change when it looks like it's almost in an attacking mode, where it's got like red flares coming out of its mane, huge smashing through a building. So this is really going to be a difficult creature for Newt Scamander to deal with. Now this is currently an unclassified type creature. This would definitely be between the 4 and 5 X's from the Ministry of Magic though. It looks like it's powerful enough to harm humans and wizards. Whether it does, we don't actually see it necessarily trampling on people. They're running away, so we'll see whether it is, you know, too dangerous to humans. It definitely looks quite hard to train to domesticate, but with the fact that Newt Scamander is having some degree of control over it, that might be the way in which only Newt Scamander can train and domesticate it. Now one of the most exciting reveals in the trailer was where Credence speaks the words Nagini, and then cuts to a clip where the character played by Claudia Kim transforms into a snake, thus confirming that Nagini was in fact a female. This introduced a new beast into the wizarding world, a maledictus. This is a blood curse that carries on, it's passed through mother to daughter, whereby the person inevitably will transform into a beast. It may be that we see her in maybe a transitional phase where she can control that, she can turn into a beast at will, but eventually it means she's going to turn into the snake Nagini, someone who we know has massive personal ties to Lord Voldemort. So it brings into question, how does Nagini go from, based on the clip we can see here, that she is with seemingly the good side, so we've got Newt Scamander, his brother there, we've got Tina, so it would suggest that she's on the good side of things and not on Grindelwald's side. So how does she go from that to becoming the snake that devours muggles, kills wizards, and has a seemingly dark future ahead of it? Now, I have my personal theory to this, which I'm going to put out in a future video, I think. This is how I think Nagini will go into that, but we'll get into that in a future video. For the time being, all we know is that she is a Maledictus and she carries a blood curse. It does bring into question, you know, Nagini is her name, but she will have a surname, and we're unsure as to what is her bloodline. Also, what we're unsure, and will be revealed I imagine in the film, is how Credence has a relation to her. Does it become a romantic one, or is it just a friend basis, or is she even family? I'm definitely excited to hear some of your suggestions on this, so definitely put them in the comments section below. I might refer to them in the future video and future theories. For now though, I'll leave you with one question. It's a blood curse. We're curse breakers. Rakepick's a curse breaker, and Tom Riddle is a very good curse breaker. If you knew you were going to be turning into a beast, if somebody promised you or said that they could potentially help you break that curse, you'd be on their side, right? Something to think about. As we go on through the trailer, we get a slight, tiny little bit where we see Pickett, Newt's Bowtruckle, and coming out of the bag with coins, we see and coming out of bag slowly, there's a tiny, literally a millisecond clip of the Niffler coming out of his bag with some coins. Fantastic Beasts won't be the same without at least one shot of Niffler in it, so I'm happy to see him. And finally, the last thing we see is Newt Scamander going underwater with a giant green horse-headed like beast, which is a kelpy. Ministry of Magic classification of 4. Now, a kelpy is able to take any form. It usually chooses to take on the head of a horse with a bulrush mane. After luring unwary travellers onto its back, they drag them underwater and eat them, allowing the entrails to just float to the surface. So this is a dangerous beast. However, a kelpy can be rendered docile and harmless by using a placement charm to put a bridle over the creature's head. So this is perhaps what Newt is doing. So plenty of fantastic beasts to look out for in the coming film. I can't wait to watch it. Tomorrow I'll actually be releasing a video which contains all the magical beasts and beings in the Harry Potter world and Fantastic Beasts world. So look out for that. Okay, well that's all for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the like button and hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with future information. That's all from me. See you soon.